The First Purge is the fourth entry in the Purge franchise and is the first not to be directed by Demonico, the man who's masterminded all of the Purge movies so far. This one is a prequel and therefore we don't get any of the returning characters from the last two segments of this franchise so far. This one focuses on three main characters. We have Isaiah, Naya, a brother and sister, and we have Dimitri, a kind of gangland boss, the person who runs this city, or the corrupt part of it. And this is all about the rise of the Founding Fathers Party and how they instigated the First Purge by setting it on Staten Island and offering the people monetary bribes to stay there and take part. And it's an interesting idea and it breaks the mould of what was becoming typical Purge type of movies. We'd seen it in a couple already. It kind of got to a point where it was hard to surpass what it had already shown you, so they go back to create a new story. And it kind of works, and it kind of fails as well. And I think it works partnership with the writing and the directing and the acting. It all kind of comes together, and it's all mismatch. It doesn't quite add up together as one cohesive whole. We have this story of a brother and sister who are struggling for money, struggling to survive, trying to toe the line. They're trying to protest against the Purge. Then we have the sort of fight in between these family members. They both want to get to safety. The brother says that he'll leave, but he doesn't. He signs up to be part of the Purge. And then we have Dimitri, this gangland boss that just wants to make sure that the night goes through fairly smoothly, nobody gets injured, nobody gets into big fights, and nobody attacks his turf or him throughout it. You have interesting ideas amongst the story of the way the Purge was set up, how it was a test experiment before it went into the grander scale. You have these interesting concepts, like the coloured contact lenses that people who are participating in the Purge can wear, so that people can monitor their behaviour. They're also given monetary rewards on how they act on here, so if they kill several people, they'll get more money. But it turns out that everything doesn't go quite as planned. People don't really care. This is a community. They haven't tackled strangers. They've tackled a community that's come together because of their poverty, and they just want to party. They don't care about the money. But there's also a couple of bad eggs, and there's also some twists and turns as the political party who are making sure that this is one of the most big events that they have set up, something that they have backed, that they have come into power because is a success, and take underhanded measures along the way. There is characters here that come into the story and are quickly pushed out or forgotten about. It seems to focus on these three characters who all have varying degrees of participation within the Purge itself. The things it does right, especially with Isaiah, the young man, when he first sets his foot onto the streets at the start of the Purge with his coloured contacts, and it is very horror centric, and it works tremendously well. You have this dreaded sense of unease. You don't feel that this character is particularly safe and that something could happen to him, and it's set up in a very horror centric way. The way it's shot, the way it's filmed, the sort of moody atmosphere that it creates is fantastic and had me on the edge of the seat watching this. Then you have the character of Dimitri, the kind of gangland man who in the end becomes the big hero, and some of his lines or his comedic turns almost are very laughable, but in a fun way. You don't laugh at it as in that's terrible, you kind of chuckle going like that's ridiculous, but you go with it. You're interested to see how ludicrous his storyline is going to get. Naya is one of these people that's just protesting, fighting against the man, trying to make a difference, but instantly just hitting her head against a wall, who gets stuck out in the streets because of her brother, and Dimitri is her ex-partner, and they're trying to save each other, which is pretty much the basic storyline. There's plenty of blood, there's plenty of destruction, and there is an antagonistic bad guy on the streets as well as behind the scenes. We get Skeletor, this drug-fueled man who has no respect for human body whatsoever, and he is out there to make the money and kill as many people as he can. Then we have this political figure in the background who's just trying to make sure that as much mayhem happens as possible. With the First Purge, I was excited about seeing it. I hadn't seen a trailer, I didn't know a thing about the storyline, and I found it to be acceptable. It never did anything fantastic, but it didn't do anything terrible either. It had definite flaws within the movie. whether it be some of the storylines, some of the characters that they come and go, some of the lines that the characters deliver, where it goes to like various scenes where they'll go to save 3 guys and they'll make sure that they save them and everybody's perfect, and then the next scene just kill everybody that we've just spent the last 10-15 minutes about caring about, making sure that they're safe, watching them go to action. It has no sort of basic regard for anybody else other than the 3 main protagonists, which should be good but doesn't, because it puts the threat onto everybody else. But when you have these halo bullets and these 3 people literally just easing through it, it seems a little bit, you know, contrivance almost. And then we have the political part. This is the part of the Purge that was very nicely touched upon in the second Purge movie, and then doubled down on in the third Purge. And again here it becomes a full-blown story arc part of the plot of the movie, the whole political aspect here. And I just don't care that much to get into it. I'd rather see the action on the streets and the characters there than the boardrooms and the offices where they're discussing what they're going to do to keep people down and limit the population. I liked The Purge. I had a lot of fun with it. I've liked all the movies so far, but for me this is one of the lesser ones. It's nowhere near as good as Part 2, which for me is still the best of the Purge movies. Still, I didn't think it was terrible like other people seem to have thought of it. I thought it was fun, it was entertaining. It's a popcorn movie. It does nothing more than just give you some slight entertainment that you will forget about within the next couple of days. So there we have it, the first Purge. I gave it a simple 3 out of 5. It's not a bad score, fairly respectable, but I'm pretty sure come next week I will have no memory of this movie at all. I would love to know your opinion of the film. Let me know in the comment box below, and I'll see you next time on Man vs Film.